Mosses, along with lichens, are the first organisms to colonize rocks and hence are of great ecological importance. They decompose rocks, making the substrate suitable for the growth of higher plants. Since mosses from dense mats on the soil, they reduce the impact of falling rain and prevent soil erosion. The bryophytes are divided into liverwort and mosses. Liverworts. The liverwort grow usually in moist, shady habitats such as banks of streams, marsh ground, damp soil, bark of trees, and deep in the woods. The plant body of liverwort is thalloid, example Marchantia. The thallus is dorsiventral and closely pressed to the substrate. The leaf members have tiny leaf-like appendages in two rows on the stem-like structures. Asexual reproduction in liverwort takes place by fragmentations of thalli or by the formations of specialized structures called gamete, single gamma. Gamma are green, multicellular, asexual buds which develops in small receptacles receptacles called gamma cups located on the thalli. The gamete become detached from the parent body and germinate to form new individuals. During sexual reproduction, male and female sex organs are produced either on the same or on different thalli. The sporophyte is differentiated into a foot, seta, and capsule. After meiosis, spores are produced within the capsule. These spores germinate to form free-living gametophyte, mosses. The predominant stage of the life cycle of moss is the gametophyte, which consists of two stages. The first stage is the protonema stage, which develops directly from a spore. It is a creeping green branches and frequently filamentous stage. The second stage is the leafy stage, which develops from the secondary protonema as a lateral bud. They consist of upright slender axis bearing spiral arranged leaves. They are attached to the soil through multicellular and branched gizoid. This stage bears the sex organs. Vegetative reproduction in mosses is by fragmentation and budding in the secondary protonema. In sexual reproduction, the sex organs antheridia and argonia are produced at the apex of the lip shoots. After fertilization, the zygote develops into a sporophyte consisting of a foot, seta, and capsule. The sporophyte in mosses is more elaborate than that in liverwort. The capsule contains spores. Spores are formed after meiosis. The mosses have an elaborated mechanism of spore dispersal. Common examples of mosses and are Funaria, Polytrichum, and Sphagnum. Pteridophyte. The pteridophyte include horsetail and ferns. Pteridophytes are used for medical purposes and as soil binders. They are also frequently grow as ornamental. Evolutionary, they are the first terrestrial plant to possess vascular tissue, xylem and phloem. You shall study more about this tissue in chapter 6. The pteridophytes are found in cool, damp, shady places, though some may flourish well in sandy soil conditions. You may recall that in bryophyte, the dominant phase in the life cycle is the gametophytic plant body. However, in pteridophyte, the main plant body is a sporophyte, which is differentiated into two roots, stem and leaves. The organs possess well differentiated vascular tissue. The leaves in pteridophyte are small microphylla, as in Selaginella, or large microphylla, as in ferns. The saprophytes bear sporangia that are subtended by leaf-like appendages called sporophylls. In some cases, sporophylls may form distinct compact structure called strobili or cones. Selaginella equistum, the sporangia produce spore by meiosis in spore mother cells. The spores germinate to give rise to inconspicuous, small but multicellular, free-living, mostly photosynthetic, thyroid gametophyte called prothallus. These gametophytes require cool, damp, shady place to grow. Because of this specific restricted requirement and the need for water for fertilization, the spread of living pteridophyte is limited and restricted to narrow geographical region. The gametophyte bear male and female sex organs called antheridia and argonia respectively. Water is required for transfer of anthrozoid. The male gametes released from the antheridia to the mouth argonia. Fusion of male gametes with the eggs present in the argonium result in the formation of zygote. Zygote thereafter produce a multicellular well-differentiated sporophyte, which is the dominant phase of the pteridophytes. In majority of the pteridophytes, all the spore are of similar kinds. Such plants are called homospore. General like Selaginella and Salvinia, which produce homospores. General like Selaginella and Salvinia, which produce two kinds of spore, macro, large, and micro, small. Spore are known as heterosporous. The megaspore and microspores germinate and give rise to female and male gametophytes respectively. The female gametophytes in these plants are retained on the parent sporophyte for variable periods. The development of zygote into young embryo takes place within the female gametophyte. This event is a precursor to the seed habit, considered an important step in evolution. The pteridophytes are further classified into four classes: Psilopsida, Psilotum, Lycopsida, Selaginella, Lycopodium, Phenopsida, Equistium, and Pteropsida, Dryophyte, Pteris, Adiantum, Gymnosperm. The gymnos, naked sperm seeds, are plants in which the ovules are not enclosed by any ovary wall and remain exposed both before and after fertilization. The seeds that develop post fertilization are not covered at the edge, are naked. Gymnosperms include medium sized tree or tall tree and shrubs. One of the gymnosperms, the giant redwood tree, sequoia, is one of the tallest tree species. The roots are generally taproots. Roots in some genera have fungal association in the form of mycorrhiza pinus, while in some other cycles, small specialized roots called coralloid roots are associated with fixing cyanobacterium. The stems are unbranched cycas or branched pinus cedrus. The leaves may be similar or compound. The cycas, the pinnated leaves persist for a few years. The leaves in gymnosperms are well adapted to withstand extremes of temperature, humidity, and wind. In conifer, the needle-like leaves reduce the surface area. These thick cuticle and sunken stomata also help to reduce water loss. The gymnosperm are heteroporous. They produce haploid microspore and megaspore. The two kinds of spore are produced within sporangia that are borne on sporophyles, which are arranged spirally along an exist to form lax or compact strobili or cones. The strobili bearing microsporophyle and microsporangia are called microsporangiate or male strobili. The microspores develops into a male gametophyte generation which is highly reduced and is confined to only a limited number of cells. This reduction gametophyte is called pollen grain. The development of pollen grain takes place within the microsporangia. The cones bearing megasporophiles with oval or megasporangia are called macrosporangiate or female stobili. The male or female cones or strawberry may be born on the same tree pinus. However, in Cycas, male cones and megasporophiles are born on different trees. The megaspore mother cell is differentiated from one of the cells of the nucleus. The nucleus is protected by envelopes and the composite structure is called an oval. The ovule are borne on megasporophiles which may be clustered to form the female cones. The megaspore mother cell divides meiotically to form four megaspore. One of the megaspore includes within the megasporangium develops into a multicellular female gametophyte that bear two or more arconia or female sex organs. The multicellular female gametophyte is also retained within megasporangium. Unlike bryophyte and pteridophyte in gymnosperm, the male and female gametophyte do not have an independent free-living existence. They remain within the sporangia retained on the sporophyte. The pollen grain is released from the microsporangium. They are carried in air currents and come in contact with the opening of the oval pore on megasporophile. The pollen tube carrying the male gametes grows toward argonia in the ovals and discharge their content near the mouth of the argonia. Following fertilization, zygote develops into an embryo and the ovals into seeds. These seeds are not covered. Angiosperm. Unlike the gymnosperm, where the ovules are naked, in the angiosperm of flowering plants, the pollen grain and ovules are developed in specialized structures called flowers. In angiosperm, the seeds are enclosed in fruits. The angiosperms are an exceptionally large group of plants occurring in a wide range of habitats. They range in size from the smallest wolffia to tall tree of eucalyptus over 100 meters. They provide us with food, fodder, fuel, medicine, and several other commercially important products. They are divided into two classes, the dicotyledon and the monocotyledon. Summary: Plant kingdom include algae, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperms, and angiosperm. Algae are chlorophyll-bearing, simple, thyroid, autotrophic, and large aquatic organisms depending on the type of pigment possessed and the type of store food. Algae are classified into three classes, namely chlorophyll, phaeophyll, and rhodophyll. Algae usually reproduce vegetative and fragmentation, asexually by formations of different types of spores, and sexually by formation of gametes which may show isogamy, anisogamy, or oogamy. Bryophytes are plants which can live in soil but depends on water for sexual reproduction. Their plant body is more differentiated than that of algae. It is thallus-like and prostate or erects and attached to the substratum by rhizoids. They possess root-like, leaf-like, and stem-like structure. The bryophytes are divided into liverwort and mosses. The plant body of liverwort is thyroid and dorsiventral, whereas mosses have upright, cylinder axis bearing spirally arranged leaves. The main plant body of a bryophyte is gamete producing and is called a gametophyte. It bears the male sex organ called antheridia and female sex organ called argonia. The male and female gametes produced fuse to form zygote, which produce a multicellular body called a sporophyte. It produces haploid spore. The spore germinates to form gametophyte. In pteridophyte, the main plant is a sporophyte, which is differentiated into two root, stem, and leaves. These organs possess well differentiated vascular tissue. The sporophyte bears sporangia which produce spores. The spores germinate to form gametophyte, which require cool, damp places to grow. The gametophyte bear male and female sex organs called antheridia and argonia respectively. What is required for transfer of male gametes to argonia, where zygote is formed after fertilization? The zygote produces a sporophyte. The germs are The gymnosperm are the plants in which ovules are not enclosed by an ovule. After fertilization, the seeds remain exposed, and thereof these plants are called naked cell plants. The gymnosperms produce microspore and megaspore, which are produced in microsporangia and megasporangia borne on a sporophylus. The sporophyles, microsporophiles and megasporophiles are arranged spirally on axis to form male and female cones, respectively. The pollen grain germinates and pollen tube release the male gamete into the ovum, where they fused with the egg cells in argonia. Following fertilization, the zygote develops into the embryo and the ovule into the seeds. The angiosperms are divided into two classes, the dicotyledon and the monocotyledon. The end.